What up, what up, what up? Today we're going to be reacting to They're Breaking the NBA Again by Jimmy High Roller. I saw this on my on my recommended and yeah, I want to see what this video is about. Let's get started.
Over the last decade, three-pointers have taken over the NBA. The shot
True.
transformed from a gimmick so underutilized that the league had to move the three-point line closer to the hoop just to incentivize teams to take more, to a shot that now determines the outcome of many games. But after an entire era of seemingly exponential growth, recently the barrage of three-pointers appeared to stabilize. In fact, the league had become so saturated with threes that the scales had flipped and two-pointers became slightly more valuable than three-pointers. Just like anything else, something that was good and effective, but only up to a certain point, and that point had been reached. The shot was pushed to its fullest extent, and the three-point revolution had met its inevitable conclusion. Except it didn't. This season, teams across the NBA are shooting more threes than ever before. Some teams with the majority of all of their shots being taken from beyond the arc. A new generation of stars more trigger-happy from three than the players that came before them. And games that feel like one long three-point contest. Is the NBA on a path to being a league featuring exclusively long balls, layups, and nothing else? Well, in 2015, right about the time the league began to shift away from the basket, Steph Curry attempted 8 three-pointers per game, the highest total in the league that season, and just the 5th player in NBA history to attempt at least 8 threes a game. By the next season, 3 other players joined him as ultra-high-volume three-point shooters. But by 2020, the number of players across the league attempting at least 8 threes a game jumped to 15. The three-point revolution was long in effect by this point, and it would remain at this level for the next few seasons. The league seemingly finding its equilibrium on...
Bro, the fact that Curry was the only one in 2015, and then it was... who's that? Dame, Harden, and that Klay Thompson? I can't really see it that well. And then Curry, so these 4 the next year, and then it just increased and then bro, this year, holy, I think it's because it just kind of made these players realize like, oh hey, I could do that too. I could attempt more threes in the game, and it's like, obviously it's give you more points because it's a three-pointer, but dang. It ramped up. By 2020, it's just like everybody's making threes now. That's crazy. Wow. And as you can see, Curry, he started at 8, then he went to 11 threes per game, and then he went down to 10. That is like what? 9.7 or something. Then like 11.7 right here. He went back down. 12.5. He went down. So Curry's like average 3 points per game is like, it went up, down, kind of stayed the same here, then up, then down, then up, skyrocketed, then a bit down. Where are you at here? Huh, I don't see him 20. Oh, he's right here. Right here. So he went boom, just a little down here. And then he's back up here. So I mean, Curry started it. He's the one who started this whole three-point mess, and now everybody else wants to do it.
Threes, and how many are even worth taking. Until this season, where there are 24 players in the NBA who are attempting what was once considered a historic amount of threes just a decade ago.
What?
Something is changing in the NBA right now.
No, that's crazy.
Are we nearing the end of the three-point era, or are we just getting started?
I think we're just getting started, to be honest, because now more people are doing threes.
Hate seeing ads? Here's how to get rid of them, or get paid to see them. Do you know how much of the content you see on a daily basis are actually ads?
Today's video is brought to you by SeatGeek.
Bro, 2 ads in a row is crazy.
Your favorite so much, and we'll get using it for year on Seat. Punch in the
hey,
promo
Jimmy,
code
get your bag, bro.
use
I need to be
In
sponsored.
2016, the Golden State Warriors completely redefined how basketball is played. For the first
True.
time, a team that centered their offense around the three ball proved that it can be a championship winning strategy. And they weren't just a three-point oriented team, they were the three-point team.
Yeah.
They bucked age-old notions of what great basketball could look like. Their star duo, named after their shooting abilities, the most influential
Splash
team
Brothers,
of our
man.
generation. That season, the Warriors shot 31.6 three-pointers per game, the second most of any team in league history, and by far the most of any
What?
true championship caliber team. This season, every single team in the NBA attempts more threes a game than the 2016 Warriors did. Their influence reshaping the league far more than anyone could.
Bro, the
have
Celtics shooting
but teams
51
are
is
just shooting more threes
crazy.
than ever before. They are approaching the point where the majority of all shots taken in a game are three-pointers. Here's a game between the Hornets and the Celtics, and with 10:36 left in the third quarter, Jason Tatum attempts a three. The Hornets come back and attempt a three as well. Celtics turn it over, Hornets attempt a three. Celtics come down and attempt another three. Hornets come down and attempt a three, followed by a Celtics three, followed by a Hornets three, followed by another three.
No, that's
Celtics
crazy.
switch it up for a moment with a layup, and then right back to a Hornets three. Turnover, Hornets three, Celtics three, Hornets three, Celtics three. This
Dang.
was a real sequence in an NBA game.
That's
This
crazy.
actually happened. A 4-minute stretch where both teams combined for nearly 14 consecutive three-point attempts if it wasn't for an easy layup at the rim. This is insane, and it's not even out of the ordinary this season.
Wow.
Here's another sequence between the Celtics and the Knicks. Now, this was already a blowout, so you never know what you're going to get in these situations. But how about a three ball followed up with a turnover, another three ball, and another three ball, and another three ball,
Another one.
another turnover, three ball,
Another
turnover,
one.
three ball. Oh look, there's a layup. And then back to another three ball.
Another
and
one?
a turnover, and a three ball, and take a wild guess, a three ball. 3 straight minutes of three-pointers. 8 from the Celtics alone.
Bro,
And
but
they missed all 8. But even this was nothing compared to
bro,
what
but like, I don't know why my space bar's not working. But bro, most of those were from the Celtics, and the Celtics this season, bro, they are shooting threes out the ass, bro. Like, bro, it's like if they were the 2016 Warriors, bro. Like if they're just shooting threes, like each of them think they're Curry, bro. Like, bro, is that like their game now? I
happened in the
guess
game
I don't
between
know.
The Hornets and the Hawks. With a minute and 45 seconds left in the first quarter, the Hornets made a mid-range jump shot. What's so special about this mid-range bucket? Well, nothing, other than the fact that this would be the last shot they would make outside of layups and three-pointers for the rest of the entire game. For the next 37 minutes of game time, outside of free throws, every single point the Hornets scored until the end of the game was from right here or out here. In fact, throughout this entire game, the Hornets scored 120 points.
Oh wow.
Only 4 of them came from a shot that wasn't a three-pointer, a layup, or a free throw. Has the complex, rich, and diverse game that
Dang.
we love truly been reduced?
Bro, nobody's
This,
making mid ranges
It
no
certainly
more.
feels that way at times. Through 100 games so far this season, a whopping 42% of all field goal attempts have been from beyond the three-point line. A total that
wow.
has nearly doubled since 2012. Sometimes it feels like we're watching one big three-point contest because
True.
at times we are. In fact, at the current rate the league is going, which may or may not continue, half of all shots taken in an NBA game will be three-pointers
Yeah,
by
it'll
the
be 50%.
2032 season. But it's not just that teams are attempting more three-pointers. Teams have regressed to taking only the best, most efficient shots on the court. Three-pointers, layups when they're available, and hardly anything in between. Excluding free
Yeah.
throws, 86% of all points scored from NBA teams this season have been from beyond the three-point line or within 6 feet of the
Wow.
basket. 20 years ago, only 65% of all points were scored from these zones. Now, this upward trend of near and far and nothing in between may not continue. Over the past few seasons, there has been some stagnation in three-point attempt rate, so there may be a shift in the other direction in the coming years. But the NBA tends to follow the leader. What are the winning teams doing, and how can we adapt, emulate, and optimize that style of play? And right now, as much as we can't stand it, winning basketball looks a lot like a three-point shootout. Before the beginning of this
Yeah.
season, Celtics head coach Joe Mazzulla said the team planned on shooting a lot more threes this year.
Oh,
They
wow.
did the math, and it checked out. We need more threes. But outside of Harden's Rockets, last year's Celtics attempted more three-pointers than any other team in NBA history. It was a recipe that was so good, it helped them win a championship. How many more threes
wow.
could they possibly shoot? 51. This year's Celtics are shooting
Yeah.
51 three-pointers
51 is
per game.
crazy.
That is 56% of all of their field goal attempts. Arguably the best team in the league, coming off of a championship, is shooting 6 more three-pointers per game than any other team in league history. But our three
Good news! We have My Best Buy memberships for everyone. See how you can save time?
pointers and the sheer volume of them really a recipe for winning basketball? Is this truly the future of the game and what teams will need to do to compete? Well, so far this season, teams that win the three-point battle, when they score more net points from three-pointers than their opponent, have won 72% of the time. And this one metric has been more indicative to winning than just about any other. Last season, there was an 85.6% correlation between three-point percentage and winning percentage, the strongest correlation between the two variables in NBA history. Make more three-pointers, greatly increase your odds of winning the game. But that's pretty obvious. Of course, making more threes will better your odds. We have seen massive underdogs win games by pouring in three-pointers and hitting more
That's
than
very
they
true.
probably should have. Will teams eventually reach the threshold of three-pointers that are worth taking in a game? Or is the shot
Bro.
just so valuable?
Bro, it's
that
crazy
you
how
end up-
Wemby is shooting threes. Dude is almost 8 foot tall. When instead of dunking most of the game, bro be doing mid ranges. He be doing 3-pointers. He be doing cool layups, and he's dunking at the same time. So it's like, bro, like I guess the three really is like that important. Like even the big man himself, Wemby. Bro, he's shooting threes too. And he's shooting good threes. It's not like he's breaking all of them. He's making them too. So, yeah, the three-pointer is pretty, yeah.
inevitably see a league that finds no value
That's
in
crazy.
taking any shot outside of the long ball. There must be a sweet spot between shooting exclusively threes and no threes, where we
That
will
was tough.
eventually see the limits of good, viable three-pointers. Oddly enough, the league may have already met that limit. As previously mentioned, three-pointers used to yield more points per shot than two-pointers for many years. Teams eventually figured this out and they capitalized on it. But this inadvertently led to two-pointers becoming more valuable. As teams focused their defensive efforts on stopping the three ball, they got spread thin, the rim opened wide up, offenses got rid of long mid-range jumpers, and for the first time in over 3 decades, two-pointers produced just as many points per shot as three-pointers. How do we know if or when teams are shooting too many threes? Well, intuitively, it would be at the point where three-pointers lose their statistical advantage over twos, which has already happened. The problem of too many threes has already statistically corrected itself. But despite this, the Celtics and many other teams are committed to shooting more threes than they previously did. They are aware of the data, and they still decided that upping their three-point rate is the answer. Steve Kerr has said that it would be hard for the Warriors to compete without shooting a high volume of threes. Mike Budenholzer said he thinks the sport is in a good place, and that threes create more space to be more athletic and dynamic going to the basket. Devin Booker, a player who utilizes and values the mid-range game
D-Book.
as much as any player in the league, said the volume should be up. Attempting the three-point shot, not even making it, stretches out the defense and opens up better looks throughout the game. Teams know
Yeah,
that the
okay.
two-pointers today aren't as valuable as they are in spite of threes. Two-pointers today have become so valuable because of threes. As Devin Booker stated,
Yeah,
even when they
I can
aren't
see
going
that.
in, the spacing and ball movement that three-pointers provides to teams creates an incredible advantage compared to any other
Yeah.
shot. In fact, it's no coincidence that points per shot on two-pointers began to climb rapidly at the same exact time as the three-point revolution. When you force teams to guard the three, you also force them to give up the two. This whole time, we've been
Yeah.
watching these games thinking teams are shooting way too many threes. And all along, they weren't just shooting threes because they're worth more points. They've been shooting more
good
threes
dunk.
to create more points in other areas. The direct benefits of volume three-pointers actually plateaued quite a while ago. Teams aren't yielding more points per shot on threes today than they did a decade ago. But the indirect benefits of volume threes continues to grow the more teams make and take them. Which means, in theory, the number of threes we're seeing teams take could continue to climb, despite the fact that they are already at the peak of their direct statistical advantage.
There's going to be a point where a team is going to attempt like 100 threes. They're going to attempt 100 threes, and it's going to be normal. Is that even possible? Is that even...
advantage?
Could that even happen?
But just how much further could this go? Well, this is where things get really interesting.
Bro,
if
Wemby, like Wemby doing it,
and the efficiency of their shooting, and just
crazy.
Look purely at volume, then through over 150 games so far this season, teams have found by far the most success when they shoot somewhere between 46 and 52% of all of their shots from beyond the arc. This season, when teams put up a three-point attempt rate between 46 and 52%, they have won over 70% of the time. Meanwhile, teams that shoot at a rate outside of this hypothetical sweet spot have won just 48% of the time, which means despite as many three-pointers teams are shooting, statistically, they may still not be shooting enough. And it may only be a matter of time before teams use this information and slowly creep towards this rate of 50% of all of their shots consisting of three-pointers. Last week, Nick Wright had a great monologue discussing the advantages of volume three-point shooting and how teams who can design an effective offense built around them have an incredible statistical advantage.
The league needs to change some rules. They have finally figured out it's not only that 3 is worth more than 2, it's that 3 is worth a lot more than 2. Because there is a 50% premium on three-point shots, the smart way to play is probably what the Celtics did on opening night. Shoot 60 of them things. That is the best strategy. That is also terrible television. And I love the league. I love it. But this is not sustainable. At its core, the NBA is at its best when dudes are flying over people, meeting them at the rim. Hanging out at the three-point line, hoisting 30-footers is not good TV. And you are going down a path where the games are less compelling television and the fans are worried, do the players even care? It's just a warning to a league I love. You are playing a dangerous, dangerous game.
Bro, I mean, I think I could agree with that. Because, like, yeah, if all the game is just shooting from the three, boom, 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 and that's all they're doing, it's like, that's not even that entertaining. It gets to a point where it gets tiring and it's like, oh, he makes it again, or oh, he misses again, and the other team is just going to go and do the same thing. Like, yeah, it's not that entertaining. It's going to be boring after a while. And honestly, that is what makes, like, the dunking and the cool, layups and the nice mid-ranges, like those types of moves are what make the basketball entertaining. Dunking over people, like that's what makes it hype, And of course, the three-pointers do add to that hype, but it seems like the NBA is just being super saturated with three-pointers, so it's not really that hype anymore. Unless it's like, the final minute of the game, obviously. But yeah, so I think I can agree with that. I feel like more people need to do more, or players need to do more mid-ranges and more dunks and more, you know what I'm saying, to spice things up. But that's in the fantasy world, because in reality that we're living in, three-pointers is what kind of gives you the most points. Not only does it count as 3 points, but it could also give you a free two-pointer, because as you saw, people are guarding the three-point line more, which leaves space to make it easy too. To pass it to your big down center, or have somebody cut in and you pass it, or whatever the case is, right? Or you can just pretend you're doing the 3 and then boom, you move down into the 2 and easy lay. Like, it's giving you easier 2s, right? Not only that, but if you shoot the 3 and you make it, I mean, it's 3 points, which is more than 2. And not only that, but if you get fouled at the 3-point line, you can either have, guaranteed 3 points, if assuming you make all 3 free throws, or if you make the 3 while you get fouled, you get an additional point. So that's 4 points. So, I mean, yeah, I can't really blame these teams for taking advantage of this, but honestly, I hope NBA goes to a different direction within the next 10 years. I hope it's not just all threes, honestly.
What the Warriors did in the mid-2010s broke the game of basketball, then teams today are eviscerating it. They have essentially cracked the code. Decades of experimenting with different schemes and offensive designs and player personnel through trial and error has led teams to the correct answer. Nothing beats a bunch of good looks at 3. It may not be pretty. It may lack the nuance and diversity that we used to see in the league, but it has been proven to be the most effective method of winning basketball games. How much further can this possibly go? Well, fortunately, there seems to be an upper limit to the ideal volume of 3s before the returns become diminished. That limit is probably about 50%. Unfortunately for us, the NBA is still nowhere near that limit.
Dang. Hey man, that's beautiful video by Jimmy High Roller himself. Yeah, honestly, the 3-pointers are cool and all, but bro, we're trying to see some dunks, some windmills, some posters. We're trying to see some nice ankle breakers at the mid-range, doing some cool, quirky moves, some circus shots mid-range, like, seeing people get into their bag, which is why I respect Kyrie Irving so freaking much, because he's like one of the few players to this day, bro, digging deep into his bag. Mid-range, ooh, spin, ooh. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, more players need to be doing that, bro. It's so much more entertaining to watch, bro, than just 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. Like, 3s are cool, but like 3, 3. The entire game, that's not even, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, that's why I love the Lakers, bro. Like, not just because of LeBron, obviously, but like, bro, you got the connect dude doing 3s. Bam! You got LeBron James dunking, cool layups, right? Or doing he like that, right? Or he does like the spin, the fadeaway. Boom. LeBron also does the 3-pointer sometimes. Like, you know what I'm saying? You got Reeves doing 3s, but he also, does the layups and stuff. You got AD dunking, getting the oops and bam. You know what I'm saying? And then, my last reaction to the Grizzlies game, bro, he made 2 threes. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, that's why I love the Lakers, bro. They're so like diverse. They're not just chucking up 3s the whole game. So, yeah, I don't know. I just feel like more teams need to be doing that. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this reaction. Subscribe to Jimmy High Roller. Subscribe to me, and yeah, comment down below what else should I react to, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.